Peace and welcome to the culture right here on the Black Star Network. Folks, we got a lot to talk about. First, let's talk about some of the latest developments in this case of the killing of our sister, Breonna Taylor, how a homicide detective admitted to misleading a judge that led to the warrant that where police used to enter the home of Breonna Taylor. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about certainly President Biden and student loan debt. The question I have to ask is it enough? As he's talking about shaving off just 10,000 versus the 50,000 that many folks expected from the president. So we'll have a conversation about that. Also, can we talk about celebrity politics? Is it really good for our democracy? We'll have that conversation, especially contended based on the fact that we're seeing such individuals like Dr. Fauci, Donald Trump, and others who are taking a very, very different role in public service. We'll have that conversation and a whole lot more. So stay with us. That's all happening on today's edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Let's go. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Happy Tuesday. So good to be talking to you once again. Big shout out to my online culture crew. Always good to connect with y'all. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Folks, we got a lot to talk about. So let's jump right into it. And then in a few moments, we're going to be joined by our culture crew member, Iman Heath. Later on, we'll be joined by Lise Winnie, host of Millennials Anonymous podcast. But folks, I'm very, very excited, and I would love to hear what you have to say as we have some of the big conversations that are happening right now. The first big one is this latest development around Breonna Taylor, folks. And let me just tell you now, not that as if this case didn't already go through enough, but the simple fact that we're seeing a situation where it wasn't just a bad warrant, or it wasn't just an officer's fatal shot, that it seemed to be a whole conspiracy that had led to the killing of our beloved sister. Now, this just came across the wire. So folks, you gotta, as details are coming in, please bear with us. But we did want to just acknowledge the fact that that there was a homicide detective, Kelly Goodlett, a female homicide detective that's she admitted, folks, that she had misled the judge in getting the warrant that led to Breonna Taylor's death. And I want to share with you just a little bit about this, but I want to certainly bring in our culture crew member, Iman Heath, to share her insights about hearing about this latest development. Iman, thank you so much. It's always good to connect with you and chat with you on Tuesdays. First and foremost, Iman, this situation, and again, information is still being revealed. We're still getting it, but we at least have to mention the fact that this is happening, that there seems to be some larger conspiracy at play when you're talking about the death of our sister Breonna Taylor. What do you make of this detective admitting to essentially lying to the judge? She lied to the judge to get the warrant that led to Breonna Taylor's death.
This is new information to me, as you are the first person to let me know this information. What I will say as of right now, with the information that we do have, I can't say it's surprising, because I've looked at quite a few documentaries of famous rappers, even those victims of police brutality, who shed light on somehow, some way being lied on or being set up, drugs being put in their car, or being said that they had something in possession, which they didn't, blatantly. It has been caught on camera, even on social media, quite a few times of that happening, especially here in Baltimore City. So I can't say I'm surprised. What I am surprised about is her confessing that she misled the judge. To
Right.
come out and say that, that's what is surprising me at this point. It's been a while has been fighting for justice for Breonna Taylor. So I just wonder what made her come out and say that now. Why did you feel the need to mislead? Well, I know why you felt the need to mislead the judge so you can get the warrant, but why? Like, did you like her boyfriend? Like, what was the inside story to her or her reasoning for misleading the judge? Like, why? Why did you
And
need
that's
that?
and I think and to your point, Iman, I think a lot of people are going to be asking that question. Like, why? Why did this Louisville police officer, homicide detective? I mean, and here's the thing, folks. She is in federal court, and she admitted to one count of conspiracy. She pleaded guilty, excuse me, to one count of conspiracy in federal court around this issue. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why. Now, I know that in one part of the case, and I don't know if you heard about this, Iman, but that even though they were kind of looking, I think they were looking for her boyfriend, Breonna Taylor has been connected to some people of interest as it relates. I think it was if it was the current boyfriend or the previous boyfriend, but I believe it was the previous boyfriend that she had a relationship with that was on the police officers list of people that they were trying to catch. And so, you know, her past kind of caught up with her in that respect, right? Because she had dealt with this other guy, had some situation, just not, you know, maybe she dibbled and dabbled in the situation and whatever hustling situation he had going. But then she decided this wasn't her thing, got out the relationship, got to school, went to work, trying to get her life back on track, all of those good things, met a new man, and started off, you know, kind of started things over again with this new guy. And that past may have just caught up with her in that. Now, does that mean that it was justified in the killer? Hell no. Doesn't mean that at all. It just means that the police were essentially looking for her ex-boyfriend, and they did not take in consideration that this young lady, Breonna Taylor, was no longer in real communication with him. You know what I mean? It's a sad story.
Yeah, and to chalk it up as just a casualty, like that's not, oh, it just happened, you know, that's what happens in this line of work, or that's just how things go. That's not how it should be carried at all. I think that is also a reason why it took so long to get justice for Breonna Taylor. And at the same time, and we talk about police reform all the time, adding more steps to get to a warrant, sure, that could help. That definitely could help. But I think where we should start at is the consequences to these actions. It's like a child. If you tell a child, hey, sit down, stop yelling, stop screaming, they keep yelling and screaming. It's not until you take away that iPad or you take away that tablet to where it's, oh, now they're going to follow directions. We have to treat this as if we're dealing with children at this point, because it seems as though because it's not a harsh punishment or you'll just get paid leave when you do these type of things. And I will say, in some cases, less than half, as we know, less than 25%, these officers are being held accountable, but it needs to happen more often. It's not, they're not being.
This was the first conviction in a case that really ignited the whole police protest across the country. So This case was pivotal in that space.
Right.
But I would agree with you. And I think, and to give more insight to folks, so there was another officer, and Keenan, let's put this information out there as well, that in the application for the search warrant for Breonna Taylor's home, there's another officer, Joshua James, who is a former detective who is among those facing charges. He claimed that he had verified through a U.S. postal inspector that her ex-boyfriend was having packages sent to her apartment. And then he later admitted that he had not spoken with any postal inspector. So we're looking at a situation where
no one knows the damn truth at this point.
Well, here's the thing. The truth that we do know, is that Breonna Taylor wasn't selling drugs.
Number one.
right? That's number one. Truth that we do know, she didn't have drugs in the house. I mean,
so where did
it
they
was
get
bad info.
from? Is the next question. Like
Say it again.
who are you getting this information from? Who for the police officers?
Bad intel.
Who are giving you? Yeah, who is giving y'all this intel? Because we lost a life due to this bad intel, and you went through postal, U.S. postal investigator, whatever you just said. Oh, that's not, from my understanding, from my credits of studying criminal justice. That is the bare minimum of an officer's job when it comes to getting a warrant. That is intel. that would be, from what I've studied, would be considered intel. But the officer, is up to them to take it upon themselves to actually investigate and take steps further. But just because he say, she say, we lost a life because of he say, she say, what it seems like.
Oh no, no doubt. And here's the thing. So you got that Joshua James situation. Now you got Kelly Goodlett. And the fact was, she knew Joshua was lying. And so what she did, even though she knew, and this is in it, even though she knew that in the claim in the warrant application was false from Joshua James, she added another misleading statement when she asserted that Mr. Glover had been using her address as his own. So you knew, right? Here's the thing, you knew the truth. Then you add to the lie that led to a fatal shooting of an innocent black woman, excuse me. Mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing. And guess what? The unfortunate part about it is Breonna Taylor was killed years ago. All of this is just coming out now.
It's funny that not haha, but weird that when these things come out and these things happen and we decide to respond in a somewhat violent way, it's like, what the hell? Where's this coming from? Why are they behaving this way? What the hell do you mean? The same things keep happening. And it's not until years later where it is a confessional being brought about that we've been right this entire time. Y'all want some BS, and another one of our community members, as far as colored folks, have lost their lives because you abused, my opinion, abused the law or abused your power in the law, and essentially they did get away with it because they got that warrant. They got in Breonna's house. But she's now dead, and now years later, you now want to speak up and say something. Like, it's to, at this point, not expect a violent reaction. Like, what do you expect from people? What would you truly expect?
I don't know. I have no idea what the expectations are right now. You know what I'm saying? Like police are lying. Blatantly lying.
Blatant. You know a lot, but then you're gonna add another.
They're lying to judges. They're lying to the community. They're lying to the department. So this doesn't. I mean, take a look at this, folks. This right here doesn't add. This doesn't bode well, Iman, when you're talking about, trying to reconcile or restore the relationship between the police and the community. It just doesn't bode well
at all.
People are, it's you hear stories like this, and then people want to use this to justify kind of pushing back against police. And now look, I know police departments that need to be reformed. I know that, but I also do know that police departments are necessary right now because we don't have an alternative form. We don't have. I know people say community policing. But you can't even get a couple of people to walk the block.
Very true.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're talking about real community policing is that you have an engaged citizenry of people who are willing to say, okay, we're going to step out on faith. We're going to step out in unity, and we're going to do some stuff, right? And then we're going to build these relationships. And then you still have, I mean, because of the system that we're currently living in, you still have to have a sense of accountability for the authority. Just because you have a community policing doesn't mean that you, oh no, we don't need this district in our neighborhood. Like, no, that's not how it goes. The community policing piece actually works in partnership with the police.
They are supposed to be the cushion between.
They're the cushion, they're the buffer. Because if you bring in the police, right? That's like you don't call the SWAT team to tell somebody to get off the corner.
Right.
Because the SWAT is not designed for that. SWAT is designed for tactical missions. SWAT is designed to bust down your door when they got all the information. You know what I mean? You just don't do that. Community policing is the same way. It's like you have to know what lane that situation works in order for it to be successful. But there's still a partnership. We see it in Baltimore. We see it in other places, Los Angeles. There are partnerships that community organizations and community residents have with their police department. And so the partnership is like, okay, we'll deal with the petty stuff, but we'll call you in if it's real serious.
Right.
But let us deal with some of this petty stuff. Let us deal with getting people off the corners. Let us deal with the loitering. Let us deal with the fights. You know what I'm saying? Because we have those relationships. Because when you get on the scene, we know things can get escalated real quick. So we'll deal with that. But if it's a shooting, if there's a rape or robbery, you know what I'm saying? We'll assist in providing information, but we don't have the capacity, nor do we have the skill set to investigate and try to bring justice to those families that have been victimized. So people got to put a very, very, I think have a real view of what the police. I'm all for reform, but you can't just completely wash out the police and be like, no police, because guess what? The people, us,
will take advantage.
We ain't there yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. I'm gonna be honest, and y'all could be mad at me. We ain't there yet.
That's real though. That's real.
We are not there yet. Because if your grandma get knocked in the head, who you calling? You calling the police, unless you're gonna call your homeboys, your homegirls, and then be like, yo, we gonna.
That'll be another never-ending cycle. I'm gonna go at you. You're gonna come back at me. And I'm gonna go back. It's gonna be back and forth. It's gonna be the same thing.
Right. So we gotta be very, very intentional. All right, let's go to some of the comments because folks are checking in, Iman, talking about this Breonna Taylor, folks, just bringing you the latest up-to-date information, some of these latest developments, how two former detectives, in the Louisville Police Department had admitted to lying on documents and to federal and to judges that led to that led that department to have a search warrant that led to the death of Breonna Taylor. Let me hear what folks got to say. All right, Janae. What's you say, Mom?
Do you think that the judge should be held accountable in any sort?
For believing the police?
I won't say for believing the police. But do you think they should have to go further or anything when it comes to receiving that type of information in these kind of cases?
Yeah, I think that's a very logical sense, but I think that the only thing about that, the pushback on that is that that's not the judge's job.
Right.
The judge has an expectation that if, as an officer, you're bringing me good information, you're bringing me good intel.
Right.
Therefore, I'm going to sign off on that warrant, right? The judge, you know what I'm saying? They doing cases all day. They don't have time to double back and be like, so-and-so said, is this true?
I agree.
You feel what I'm saying? So no, I don't think it's the judge's fault. I think the police officers should definitely face some time.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because essentially you're a conspiracy to murder.
You ask me. You are an accomplice. They would be, to me, they would be considered an accomplice
That's it. You're an accessory to murder.
Yep. Yep.
So you need to eat that, and you need to feel that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you said in your opening remarks, Iman, it's not like a oops. It's like, nah, dog, your lies led to somebody dying. Therefore, you need to go to jail. Especially as a police officer, especially when you knew somebody was lying.
On top of it, like, yeah.
Oh, no.
I agree.
No, you need to go to jail. Let's go to Janae. Janae, you say, let's be real. How many others died under false pretense lies or are in jail because these badge-hungry liars lie all the effing time? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta make somebody an example. That's how I feel, Janae. Good to hear from you, sis. Thank you for checking in. Shalinda, my sister, you said whole situation's atrocious. This young lady should still be among the living. Everybody failed Breonna Taylor. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. You know who failed the most, and I don't think a lot of people really understand this. And this is one of the, I think this is one of those big lessons, Iman and Shalinda, that I think that we need to keep in mind. That this brother, her ex-boyfriend who was in that life, brought that to her. He shouldn't have. Come on, man, that's not fair. I ain't gonna get on no soapbox about it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is not Breonna Taylor's fault because she tried to move on from that. You know what I mean? From him, the situation, her relationship with him. So you can't blame her. You know what I'm saying? She tried to move on, but it's some of these dudes. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I don't know what's going on in his psyche, but he can't feel good about himself. You cannot possibly feel good about yourself.
Some of those,
knowing that your situation got somebody else killed like that didn't deserve it. That you claim that you love.
Yeah, you can't. You can't if you're willing to put me in that line of danger like that. Like, you can't. And I would say even some gentlemen just don't think that far. They don't think they can really get caught. They don't think that it comes with
that's that dumb shit.
That you can't plead ignorance. You're still gonna go to jail. It can't. Oh, I didn't know situation, or I wasn't brought to my attention. No, you can't plead that and just go home because you didn't know. No, it doesn't work like that. And a lot of, I would say, men in the street, they don't think that far. They don't think about the family they putting in danger. When you go back home, that's essentially a target. You are a target, and you're taking the target to your home. So they don't think of that. This whole Bonnie and Clyde thing, this ride or die thing. Listen, ladies, stop dying. Stop. You don't have to go through the mud with a man to have a successful relationship. But I'll stop there because I get on a soapbox myself, Farajii.
Right.
But this Bonnie and Clyde inspiration type thing, like, nah, let that go, please. Let it go.
I mean, we definitely got to let that go, and I think that's glamorized, especially within the Black community. And you know, we can go back and forth on the cultural side of things when you're talking about, you know, when they say when you have a good girl that loves bad boys, you know what I mean? That whole drama and how it plays out, like it's still appealing to a lot of sisters.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna get me a guy from the street. You know what I mean? He gonna bring in some money. He gonna buy me this. I mean, and we feed off of that. You know, a lot of young sisters and a lot of brothers, we feed off of that. We like, yeah, in order for, you know, I gotta be this street guy. Now you could have a whole 9-to-5 job, but you posted up on the block like you hustling all day, knowing damn well you just got out there for 5 minutes hanging out with your homeboys.
But they're gonna post on Instagram that they outside though. They're gonna post
outside. I'm outside. You know what I mean? Like, but bro, you work a job. Like, it's okay to work a job. It's okay not to be a drug dealer, or, you know, it's okay that you don't live that street life.
Now hold on. Cool. I do see some of these comments. I'm saying that there aren't good men in the street or good women in the street. I'm not saying that. I do understand realistically with some circumstances, for some people, that may be the only way due to their circumstances to make money, keep food on their table, keep the lights on. I completely get that and understand that. So I'm not saying if you out here selling drugs, you the worst person, you the scum of the earth. Not saying that at all. I do understand people's circumstances at times. However, let's not glorify and glamorize this as if it's the best thing coming. Like it's not.
No,
you can be a baby every weekend. However, what comes with the consequences if this stuff hits the fan? That's all I'm saying needs to be considered.
No, let me tell you, it definitely. And my man King Lee, you checked and you was like, I guess you calling them fake hustlers, brother Farajii. I mean, look, you ain't gotta be. I mean, you could be doing you. And I know dudes that hustle on the side and still got a 9 to 5. My point is, it's getting old, and it's getting, more importantly, it's more destructive than anything.
And it's getting
because mine, like, and this is not for just women. This is for everybody involved. It don't go nowhere. We know the end result of those relationships and those situationships. We know.
We've seen it so many times.
We've seen it in the movies. We hear about it in the music. We you know what I'm saying?
From people
it's
that
not
we know,
work out.
It's real.
That people, we look at ghosts from Power and thinking, oh man, I'm gonna find me a ghost. Like he gonna make all his money in the street. Then he gonna clean it by going legit, and he gonna have all this money. It don't work that way.
Downtown by the harbor.
He gonna have a penthouse. He gonna be running for office. He gonna be seen as a pillar of the community. It don't, man. How many stories actually work out that way?
Not saying it's impossible. However, let's be realistic, y'all. Be realistic about it.
Did we lose him on? Did we lose him? All right, look. We're gonna work. Yeah, I got you now. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was saying. I'm right here. I haven't gone anywhere.
You were just simply saying that I was saying it's not realistic that we have this narrative, and I think that's the part of this conversation, a part of this Breonna Taylor's story, right? That it can be a cautionary tale of how. And again, this is not to blame her. I'm not blaming her. What I'm just simply making a point of is your past, making sure those choices are coming up right. So if your choices aren't good, then what's going to happen is there's going to be a real problem. There's going to be a real problem. So we will see how this situation will play out, and we'll certainly keep everyone posted on this on this whole story. But this is absolutely devastating and fascinating. So, folks, we got to take a quick pause. When we come back, let's talk about student loans and a whole lot more. Stay with us. It's The Culture right here on the Black Star Network.
When we invest in ourselves, our glow, our vision, our vibe, we all shine. Together, we are Black beyond measure.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds. as an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, you're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. First and foremost, so as you've been seeing, we've been running ads of Brother Roland talking about your support. Your support is everything. It is essential. So make sure you show your support for Black Star Network. Go to our website right now. If you haven't had a chance to download the app for free, and most importantly, give something financially to make sure that Black Star Network continues to do the great work that we are doing, which is bringing you news and information and having conversations with you like no other. So again, check us out at blackstarnetwork.com. All right, I wanted to have a conversation as we shift gears to have a conversation about money and economics. It has been announced, folks, that tomorrow we should expect to hear some official word from the White House, particularly from President Biden, around their plan, the Biden-Harris administration's plan on handling the student debt crisis that continues to serve as a huge burden to this country. There it is, Barrett. He's canceling, $10,000 in student loan debts, a decision as soon as tomorrow. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this because what we're seeing right now, folks, is that a lot of people are saying, well, what about the 50? What about with that great promise that we're going to close the gap, particularly for Black college students and white versus white college students? What about that? So I want to get your take on this. And again, officially, the president will make a statement tomorrow. The White House will put out a statement, but they just wanted to tease it, saying that this is what they've been considering, $10,000. And let me show you how this breaks down. Let's show the numbers on this, Keenan. Let me show you how this. First quote. Look at this. These are the parameters that the White House is considering. The first one being that the White House has zeroed in on a plan that would cancel up to $10,000 in student loan debt per borrower, according to sources familiar with the talks. A figure Biden campaigned on. He actually campaigned on a couple of figures. That went in with $50,000, but he said he didn't want it. He didn't know if $50,000 was possible. The second thing to consider is the debt cancellation would be limited to a family incomes of $125,000 or less, and it would apply only to people with federal loans, not private ones. That's huge. That's huge. And the next consideration is more than 43 million people have federal student loan debt in the U.S., and the average borrower has about $37,000, according to data compiled by the Education Data Initiative. The outstanding federal loan balance is about $1.6 trillion. $1.6 trillion. I want to bring in Culture Crew member Iman Heath, who is a entrepreneur. She's a student as well. And of course, she's an activist around this issue. But look at this, Iman, when we're talking about this, and I'm asking folks, post your comments on the YouTube page, on our Facebook page, is this enough? And I'm gonna ask you that. And Iman, I can tell by the look on your face right now, sis, this ain't enough. $10,000. Hold on, you got you on mute. You're on mute. There we go.
I'm always on mute. My apologies.
Yeah, go ahead.
Number one, 10,000 is nowhere near enough. That's number one. That's barely one semester alone. You have to usually take 4 years, but that's another conversation. Number two, you promised us this larger amount, right? In my opinion, to just be elected. You sang a song that would appeal to minorities, and you convinced a few people, and you only threw out that number just to appeal to minorities. I want to break it down even further. According to educationdata.org, Black and African American college graduates owe an average of $25,000 more in student loan debt than white college graduates. 4 years after graduation, 48% of Black students owe an average of $12.5 more than they borrowed. So on top of the credit system already being trashed when it comes to people of color, the gap between white and Blacks, to add more to that, you made us believe that you were going to help, and we usually always do this when it comes to voting. You made us believe that you would keep this promise, or you made us believe that you will be able to help, but you now dumb it down to just 10,000. Now it's certain stipulations that we have to abide by. Like it's bullshit. 10,000, thank you, but is bullshit.
I don't know. And I know some people say, oh, you know, and I see some folks posting their thoughts and saying, hey, Biden never promised 50,000. He said he would consider it. Now, there's some pushback on this, but he said he would consider it. He was because the more progressive folks in the Democratic Party are saying you need to take a much more radical approach to this situation, right? Especially, and I'm glad you brought that data, Iman, especially considering where Black students are compared to white students in this whole scenario. He needs to really think about that. Like really think about it. If you're trying to bridge the gap, you're trying to bring some level of equity to the playing field, then you got to do more. You got to do more. Here's what folks are saying as they check in, and folks continue to post your comments. Kofi, good to hear from you, bro. You said, what's $10,000 compared to owing $80,000?
Laughing emojis. That's my favorite part. The laughing emojis.
80,000. Like people got $50,000, $60,000 student loan debts right now.
And that could be just for undergrad. We're not talking
That's
about
undergrad.
We're not talking
That's
about
undergrad.
School. We're not
That's
talking
undergrad.
About that.
Right.
That's just the beginning.
That's right. You're right. And so you talking about $10,000? That might have been just books.
No, for real.
No, seriously, that could have just been books for a couple of years or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause you gotta either buy these books, or you gotta you gotta borrow these books that are all written up, old, outdated books. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that could have just been books, but come on. And I know, and here's the thing, and I get it. People say, well, the president's doing as much as he can because he's getting some pushback around this. And I'm gonna share with you what some of the pushback is. But let's go to Karina. Karina, my sister, you always checking in. Good to hear from you. You said, look, The measly little $10,000 promise in his campaign should have already happened. Been happened. Hey, look, Iman, Karina, his approval ratings probably would have stayed higher if he just knocked that off at the top.
If he would have started there and
if
showed
he started that, like, all right, I'm in office. Let's get the student loan debt under control. Maybe started off and as soon as you jumped in office, say, all right, let's do $10,000 now, and then let's see how we look next year. Let's do another 10,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it a graduated situation. But he probably could have saved some of his legacy on that one, Karina.
But what he did hop on though pretty fast was that Asian hate crime bill. He did hop on that very fast, but that's a whole nother topic.
You know why? And here's the thing why, Iman. Here's the thing why. Because they lobby for it. They put money behind their demands.
Say it, Farajii.
They're organized enough. They're organized enough. And I'm not saying they're more organized than Black folks. I'm saying they're organized enough that they can put that type of pressure on Congress. But they put money behind their demands because they understand the business of politics in this country. And after all of these years, we still go for the okie dokie, man, of believing that a vote is sufficient to move these legislators to do what we tell them to do. That is not sufficient. Wall Street don't give a damn about who's in office. Hollywood doesn't give a damn about who's in office because guess what? They got the resources, and whoever is in office, you're going to move according to my interest because I'm going to put some money in your pocket and I'm going to hold you accountable because guess what? I own you. We don't own our politicians like that.
Not at all.
And let's keep it real. We don't own
power. We have our buying power is ridiculous.
Check this out. Great point. So check this out. If we stop, and I'm saying this might be very, very idealistic, and I know some of y'all will always say something like, oh, Farajii on his Marxist stuff. But I'm just saying, just proud with me on this one.
Go ahead, throw it out there.
If we said, instead of buying the stuff that loses its value over years, right, in a very quick amount of time, and we redistribute that wealth to putting it into behind our demands, right, we probably get further along. If our buying power, I heard that we $1.3 trillion. If we take a fraction of that and say, look,
just a fraction.
We can take 5% of that, 5%, and be like, check this out. We're going to put this into our political engagement strategy. And instead of us continuing to put money back into the system and then not getting a return on our investment, that we start to say, nope, I'm not going to buy just consumer goods. I'm going to start, let's invest in our political progress. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just shifting the thinking a little bit.
At least
but we don't put no money behind our demand. So I can't be mad. Why am I mad at another group of people do something that we should have been doing for some time? And I get it. You know, we were in a worse state. Yes, of course, we understand the impact of slavery and systemic racism and all of those things. But this is 2022. We got Black lawyers, Black doctors. We got Black people in powerful positions and professional positions, professional classes. We know what it is. Stop acting like Black folks. We always acting like we just babies sometimes. Like, man, we can't do nothing. Man, stop telling me the white man is always the problem. The white man is not the problem if you don't let him be the problem.
The white man is the problem. However,
he's not the problem if you don't let him be the problem. Trust and believe. He's a problem. Yeah. But I'm saying if we moved with a different mindset, he won't be a problem. The white man, look, if we organize and if we serious about changing the reality of our lives and focus on us, like seriously focus on us. And you know, Iman, you and I've had these conversations a lot, and seriously focused on us. We ain't gotta worry about it. We don't have to keep worrying about like, oh man, the racism and stuff. Because guess what? We building our own.
Just how people have tithes and offering for church and people commit to that 10% of their income, it's the same exact concept, just on a wider scale. It would be the same thing if we dedicate a certain percentage of what we make and put it towards a national thing that we could be able, and hopefully one day we'll be able to be international with it when it comes to Black issues. We would have so much power. We would at least one piece on the chessboard. We ain't never even seen the chessboard. We can't even touch.
I'm tired. Look, I'm tired of sending Black politicians to Washington broke. And look, here, check this out real quick, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong in my analysis, so y'all can always check me. You send a Black politician to Washington, to City Hall, to Capitol Hill, to your state capital, broke. Then when the big interest boys come across, looking at him across the table and start handing him little incentives and perks and money here and money there, he broke. She broke. I'll take a little bit of that. I'm with the people, but I gotta eat. Hey man, y'all eating like that? You eating like that too? Let me get a little piece of that pie. Right? Because we sent them to these places broke with a hope and a dream. I ain't doing that no more.
We gotta stop. People gotta stop. And I'm gonna say Black people in general. And it may be because I'm in the community, I hear it so much. Faith without work is dead. You can pray till your knees turn black, pray to you, I'm speaking without the actual work. Ain't nothing gonna get done. I can sit and hope and pray for a garden, but until I get out there and get my feet dirty, get my hands dirty, buy the plants and actually plant the flowers, it's not gonna be no garden. So to keep praying, pray and work. Pray before you work and pray after. But this wishing and hoping, no, it's not enough.
Hey, look. So look, let's go back to the comments. New Monet. Good to hear from you, New Monet. Sound like you're a new voice. We welcome you to the culture crew and to the culture. You said my six-figure federal debt was forgiven this April through the PSLF program. Keep applying if you work for a nonprofit of service sector. All right, we got to learn more about that program.
Thank you.
I'm not familiar. So that sounds good. I got to check that out. Damon, my guy, thank you so much for checking in. You said that's crack, putting your salary as part of the criteria. It was the student loan that allowed you to get the degree, to get the job, to have that salary. Facts.
On top of that,
come on, man, that's wrong. That's wrong.
6% of Black
that's wrong. You're right, Damon. That's wrong.
Is less than they owe in student loan debt. So we already let y'all know our debt was more than what we making now.
Right. Zoe, checked in. Zoe Bing, good to hear from you, sis. You say it's not enough. The banks get bailed with our money and they're still making money. Meanwhile, we spend thousands of dollars and still can't make enough after getting a degree. Y'all keep talking about this capitalism like it's working. Hey, Zoe, you hitting the nail right on the head. Y'all, we keep praising capitalism, and we thinking this is the system that's going to take us to the promised land. Shit. This ain't the system that's going. I'm telling y'all, this not the system that's going to take it. This system doesn't work for people that have been robbed, for people that's been oppressed. It doesn't work. Where other than telling us we got a few people here and a few people there, a sprinkling of folks in the wealthy class. And I'm saying literally, it's like a sprinkle of folks. When we talk about Black wealth, the same names keep coming up. Oprah, Jay, Will.
Hold on. I'm going to say this. Oprah is not here. Let's be clear on that. It may appear that way, but it's not. She gave out Hummers and trucks and whatnot to her audience when she had her studio audience or whatever. But Oprah, I wouldn't put too much faith in her. All I'm gonna say is do your research on what's that man?
Here's the thing. Only thing is real quick. You may not like her politics, so I'm just making the simple point that as a black woman, she's in those spaces that a lot of black women and black men aren't in. That's all. You know what I'm saying? So my point is that to Zoe's point, it's like we running this what's that little wheel in the cage? You know what I mean? Because we keep told, oh no, all you gotta do is go to school and get your degree. And black folks, we know it. Black women, y'all get y'all degrees. Y'all don't get one. Y'all get two. Y'all get three. Mm-hmm. And you still behind black men. We get two. We get three. We still behind.
Yep.
But we the ones that's bringing the innovation. We the ones that's taking those industries to the next level. But we ain't getting paid for it. Not compared to our white counterpart. So it's the math ain't mathing, folks. Janae, how far back does this go? Is this for anyone with college debt of all races? Because $10,000 is way more than any other administration. He worked this in his second year. Not bad. Okay. But guess what? Here's my own pushback on that, Janae. You can disagree with me, sis, and I will appreciate it. I'm tired of getting crumbs. I want radical stuff now. Maybe that's just because I'm getting older and I'm starting to understand more about how the system works, and I'm starting to see some things, Iman. I'm tired of getting crumbs. I'm tired of getting this type of just ask for the bare minimum and then just wait it out. I'm tired of that. Mm-hmm. I'm personally tired of that. I don't know if anyone else is, but that's the type of political rhetoric we've been hearing for years. Just wait your turn. Just wait. It's coming. We just got to start slow. When the other party, the Republicans, they knock you in the head with their demands, and they don't hold no cards on telling you how they feel about getting the whole piece of the whole enchilada. Tired of waiting. But I hear you, Janae. Trust and believe. Karen, thank you so much, Karen. Always good to hear from you. Another one of our new listeners, new watchers. You said the math is a mathing, right? For our sisters and brothers with a $350,000 plus in student loans. Wow. Woo. What is $10,000 supposed to do? Their ability to build generational wealth is compromised. It ain't compromised. It ain't there.
It's buried. That's kind of buried. $350,000.
We'd say that thing is dead. You can't build no generational wealth. You owe that much money and you getting that little relief. You ain't building nothing.
And then it's harder for us to even get jobs that pay over $100,000, even close to $90,000, even with all the degrees and certifications that you can ask and wonder for. That it's still like you say, it's like that wheel, that the hamster wheel. It keeps turning. We just keep running. Hopefully we won't get. No, man. Right. We got to get hop off the wheel.
We got to hop off this wheel. All right, let's get a couple more in before we take our next pause. Robin Welch, you checked in. Good to hear from you, Robin. You said this is what Google says, quote, the high cost of the U.S. college education students looking at other countries offers free college or low-cost programs, including Norway, Finland, Sweden, Germany, and France. Wow, that opens up a whole new conversation there, Robin. You talking about Black students possibly going across the waters to get college education because here in America, it's just too costly. I remember when the start of the Ukraine-Russian war started, and we talked about the African students, and some of us were asking, like, why were African students there? Because they were getting a better education. They probably got a better deal getting their education in Ukraine than they did in Africa or wherever they came from. I don't know. But that might be, hey, Miman, that might be the moves now. That Black college students say, yo, you know what? I'm like LeBron James, I'm gonna take my talents elsewhere.
Some universities or colleges do get a like some type of credit when they have a certain amount of minorities within the school. So yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Absolutely. But it's a good point. It's something that we need to consider. Check this out, Nicole. You checked in. Nicole, my sister, you always good and checking in with us. Thank you so much. And you said if $44 billion can be sent to the Ukraine and $1 trillion tax cut can be given, then student loans can be forgiven. Educators, teachers, student loans should be forgiven. Even though you're talking about different pots of money, we're talking about different pots of money, right? Because that money for Ukraine versus, because America's spending that in the guise of protecting its international interests. The money for, you're talking about for those tax cuts, that's a different situation. I think the big thing that you're speaking about, McCole, is having the will to do what is right.
Farajii, they can make a way. They can make a way.
That's what it comes down to, sis.
What pot it is, you can pour from that pot, put it here. America, as they say, are bullies. If they want to make a way to help student loan debt, take a piece of paper, write it, send it over to whoever you got to send it, get signed off on, and that's how it goes. If a way can be made if they want to make a way for us. It's no matter the pot.
Absolutely. And you know what? We may have to start this, and I know this is a big one, but if other countries are able to do, if they're able to discount college education, and again, America, I was reading a book. I've been reading a book, folks, and one of the things that it says that in this book, one of the lessons, it's a powerful story. But one of the lessons is said that when you have conflict, creativity cannot exist. I'm going to say that again. When you have conflict, creativity cannot exist. One of the reasons I think that there's a lack of innovation on some of these big issues, Iman, is because everything is a conflict, right? Therefore, it's stifling us to think creatively to get out of these situations, right?
Right.
So when you have this, when we even, look at the simple thing. Very quickly, Keenan, I know we got to wrap up. Show the second quote about the pushback on this idea. Let me show you this quote, y'all. This is just one of the things. It's not a pushback, but it says that in addition to that baseline of student loan debt forgiveness for individuals who fall under a certain income level, administration officials also recently discussed the possibility of additional forgiveness for specific subsets of the population, according to sources familiar with internal discussions in the administration. White House officials have also been leaning toward a final short-term extension of the freeze on federal loan repayments that have been in place since 2020. The freeze is scheduled to expire on August 31st, and the administration has for months signaled it preparing for the pandemic era action to end. That comes out of CNN. But here's the point. We got that piece, but then the other point is that the pushback that we're seeing from the Republicans and from economists who say that if you were to relieve student debt, it will mess up the economy, literally saying it will mess up the economy. And it's like, so what do you want people to do? How do you relieve the $1.6 trillion burden from this country, right? If you talk, what do you want people to work harder?
So
because Americans are working their ass off right now. I don't know if anybody else noticed. People are working their ass off right now. Like we got 2 to 3 jobs. Iman, I know you got like 6 jobs, sis. I know.
Farajii.
and it's not about that we can't. This is the sad part. This is the real sad part. It's not about being lazy. It's not about us not wanting to work. It's about a fact that at the end of the day, we live on a part of a system that don't even think that it is in the best interest of the country to relieve a burden that is crippling the economic progress of its constituents.
So I have a question. Please excuse my ignorance, but how would relieving people of student loan debt, how would that, even a $10,000?
Because we're in this inflation right now, they're trying to say that because we're in this inflation right now, that it would basically add to more economic instability. Now, I'm not an economist, and it's interesting to hear the pushback on this from economists, and then you got folks on the GOP side. But you got 43 million people in this country that are crippled by student loan debt. That thing carries with you. Like, student loan debt is so attached to you, right? Regardless of what you do, it's always going to be on your credit until you pay it, until it's either relieved or until it's paid off. You know what I'm saying?
And trying to get
it becomes like this. It becomes like this ball and chain. You know what I'm saying? Like it becomes this ball and chain, and people can't make the progress. And if you got thousands of dollars, you got $100,000, $60,000, $50,000, and you putting out money month after month, right? And then they're gonna add interest on top of that shit. Then you putting out month after month. Like, come on, man. Like, after a while, it's like, yo, do you want us to just continue to suffer? And I'm saying this to the leadership of this country, Democrats and Republicans. Like, do you just want us to constantly be in a state of slavery and servitude? Like,
capitalism. Yep, that's exactly what they want, Farajii.
This is crazy. Absolutely insane. So, look, we're going to, tomorrow, I'm going to have another conversation, because once the president makes a statement about it, we're going to see or hear, rather, what his rationale is. But this is insane. This is insane. And guess what? Like you said, alluded to the fact of how people deal with police reform, Iman. I think people are going to get upset. I mean, you can't tell people, hey, go to school and do something great. And then the moment they come out of school, you hit them in the head with debt.
It'd be like a week after your graduation.
Right after your graduation. And it becomes a penalty. It's not an incentive. It's a penalty. So and look, I got a college degree, but guess what? If I was in a position where I was thinking about getting a college degree versus working, or, going into a trade field where I don't incur that much debt, guess what I might choose?
Why would you create a bigger burden for yourself? That doesn't make sense. I'm clocking in.
And I know people be like, well, that just come with it. But going out, if you make the decision, very final point, folks, just my final point. This could be my old, idealist thinking. If you say to yourself, I'm going to go to school to be a better person and to be a better and more productive contributing member of society, I'm going to get my education. Why should we be penalized for that? Why? Why isn't there no incentive for that? We're penalized. We suffer the consequences of just trying to make ourselves better.
Somebody has to pay. Somebody has to pay, Farajii.
So what's the point of making ourselves better? If I'm paying, right, and I'm paying so much, what the hell then? I'm not going to do it for it. It's mixed messages.
Very true.
You can't tell high school, go to college, but then guess what? Yeah, you're going to be hit. We want you to be a great doctor, but get prepared for $100,000 coming your way.
It's going to be hard to get a mortgage. It's going to be hard to get a house for your family that you can pass on.
You can't get no car, right? Until you pay it off. You can't. It's going to be hard as hell to get your credit up, right? Oh, and if you don't become a doctor, if you don't become a lawyer, then you're going to work in a.
You gotta pay this money though.
You gotta pay us.
I hate it here too.
All right, look, we gotta take a quick break. When we come back, let's continue the conversation, folks. I want to talk a little bit about politics and celebrity how celebrity politics, I'm asking the question, is it good or bad for democracy? I'm going to share with you some thoughts on this. We're going to bring in culture crew member Lise Winnie, who is the host of Millennials Anonymous. We're going to have Iman still with us. And of course, we're going to have you, because no conversation is complete without you. So stay with us. We got more conversation in the next hour of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network.
When we invest in ourselves, our glow, our vision, our vibe, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
When we invest in ourselves, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20036-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is roland@rolandsmartin.com.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
All right, folks, welcome back to the second hour of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the first hour, if you haven't had a chance to check out the first hour, make sure you do. As we talked about some of the latest developments in the killing of our sister Breonna Taylor, and we talked about President Biden considering canceling just $10,000 as it relates to the student loan debt crisis in this country. So very, very important conversations you don't want to miss. Check us out on Black Star Network for the recap, and we will certainly appreciate your support. All right, I wanted to have a conversation about this, about something more cultural, which is something I've always found to be fascinating, especially when it comes to politics, right? That we are in an era right now where politics, being a politician is like being a celebrity. No, it's not like, you see us in the videos or you might pay for us. But in the sense, we look at politicians, we look at political leadership, we look at those who are supposed to work for us to be people that should be admired and idolized, and people who should be put into a situation where they should be held on a pedestal. We want to have that conversation. Look, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, that conversation with Lise Winnie, Iman Heath will happen. Stay with us. It's The Culture right here on the Black Star Network.
When we invest in ourselves, we all shine. Together, we are Black beyond measure.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
When we invest in ourselves, we're investing in what's next for all of us. Growing, creating, making moves that move us all forward. Together, we are Black beyond measure.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland@RolandSMartin.com.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol,
we're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate Black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
All right, folks, welcome back. I wanted to have a conversation about celebrity politics. I'm asking a question, is it good or bad for democracy? Because when we look at the culture of public service, it seems to be that this is warping into something of idol worship rather than people who represent our interests and to do the great work of doing the work of the people. And so I wanted to have a discussion about this, and I think this is just one of many conversations that we plan to have around this larger topic. So I wanted to bring in our culture crew, Iman Heath, who is an entrepreneur and an activist, and of course now Lise Winnie, who is the host of Millennials Anonymous podcast, to get her take on this. Here's the thing, ladies. This is what came up, and Lise, is always good to hear from you. Let me show this, Keenan. Let's show this first thing that came out of the New York Times around this issue of the idea of celebrity politics. This is something that we're seeing. Celebrities, they are ubiquitous in American culture and now ever increasingly in our politics, from Donald Trump to Dr. Oz, and we can include now even Dr. Fauci, the memification of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine. The power of celebrity has gripped our democracy and society. We want our elected officials to be superstars, but is that a good thing? I'm distressed that we've conflated celebrity and politics, because I think it gives politicians the wrong goals, the wrong motives. And this comes from Mr. Frank Brunei, who's an opinion writer for the New York Times. And a lot of that is on us, the fans. Now, Jessica Bennett, who is a contributor editor of the Times Opinion, says, we place value on celebrities that may not actually represent them, and they become something outside of themselves. They start to represent something that has nothing to do with the person who's actually there. All right, ladies, I want to talk about this because there's a number of different, elements to this. First, to the point of, do you agree, or do you think it's a good thing that we want our elected officials to be superstars? I'm going to pose the question that we pulled from at the New York Times posed. Is this good or bad for democracy, Lise?
I think it's not great in the direction that we're going in, because this has kind of been a trend in American history. Like, didn't the teddy bear come out of a tribute because of Teddy Roosevelt? So we've always had this very much celebrity, almost like kingly versions of our politicians. I think now it's just that we're seeing them everywhere. So that's why it seems like it's more of this. It's more dangerous because they're on television and it's saturating our lives. But this is an issue that we have with social media, just in general. So when we see the characters like Donald Trump and we're seeing Dr. Oz, it's kind of resonates with us because it's familiar. But then what's happening in Pennsylvania, when you take a look at Dr. Oz, he's trailing. People aren't really connecting with him. So I think to a certain point, we do this with all of our politicians, and we've always done this. We're just seeing it more. And yes, it is going down a very dangerous direction, especially when it comes to Trump, because it's not even just like politics anymore. It's almost like a religion. It's like a cult. So it's gone beyond that.
I would definitely agree with that. Iman, what's your take on this? Is this a good thing or a bad thing for us right now to have this level of celebrity politics?
Just like Lee said, it's starting to feel as though it's turning into a cult type of situation. Like you're pledging to be devoted to this political figure, no matter what they do, no matter how bad they do. We're not looking at, some people aren't looking at what they actually pushing for, what they value. It's more of, I like how they think I'm going for them. Like the Trumpettes, they are a great example of how it can turn into a situation. January 6th is a great example of how it could turn into a cult situation. So it's a downward spiral.
Yeah, here's my thing on this, y'all ladies. I've always pushed back on this, and you know, even when we talk about Black political leadership, right? Like I get it. You know, you excited. It's just weird. Like when I go to conventions, and I'm not going to say which conventions. I'm gonna just say when I go to conventions, we treat public officials like superstars. You know what I'm saying? Like when they walk in the room, it's like literally, can I have your autograph? Literally, I've heard people say it like, oh, I'm taking a picture with so-and-so and such and such. And it's such a weird space. And look, I get it. Like we're all in this culture, right? So I totally get it. But it's so weird to me, ladies. It is super weird. Like we treat them and it's like, you get this vibe, right? Like, wait a minute, are we can't see the boundary between somebody who has been elected to office and representing us. Maybe I'm old school because I'm used to seeing like my political leaders, you see them walking up and down the street in the communities, you see them greeting people, you know what I'm saying? Like they always got for men, they always got the sleeves rolled up and they looking like they look like they working. Now it's like photo ops. It's like you get, you know, this Instagram page. They hang out. The political leaders are hanging out with the celebrities, and crazy and as powerful as celebrity culture is in this country. And y'all can disagree with me or agree with me on it. I don't think people can differentiate between who's a celebrity and who's the public servant. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think people know that. We know Donald Trump. Like if we saw Barack Obama today, Barack Obama is like, woo, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I
he's supposed to be a president.
Yeah, I can confess and say I will be one of those people. Barack, let me get a picture. Wait 1 second. That I can confess that would be me. That as the first black president, I cried.
I get it. And see to your point, and that's an excellent point. Because when you are a first Black in this political space, now it takes you from not just being a public servant. Now you are a figure. You're an icon. You know, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. Ooh, she ain't just the Supreme Court judge. She's like you know what I mean? She's like the girl, that girl. You know what I mean? So I'm just wondering. At least what's your take?
As she should be. She is the first. She will be in history. She is historic. What she did was historic. President Barack Obama is historic. That's why we still talk about Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth and Dr. Martin Luther King. They are historic, as they should be. I think the issue becomes when you talk about Donald Trump, he was a celebrity. So it actually is backwards. So he was a celebrity first. He brought this fandom with him, and it was just a continuation of you're fired. It was like The Apprentice 2.0. That's
that's a great point
with Donald Trump. But I think you make a great point, Farajii, that we do this to our celebrities because it's hard for us. We don't have the education to distinguish between the two of what they actually do. So when we see people on television, we automatically think they're a celebrity. Look at when you see your cousin or friend, oh my gosh, you want to tell you call them and text them, even if they was on the nightly news. Like, that's just what we do. And we want to be entertained. That's how they train politicians now in order to get elected. You have to be charismatic. You have to be entertaining. You have to resonate with your voters. That's how they train them in order to get elected.
That's
on us. We are, like I say it all the time, are you not entertained? It's the gladiator mentality. We don't want a boring politician. They would never win.
We don't want a politician that actually is a person that thinks about governance. Because let's keep it real, government work is very dry, tedious work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you ask your city council person, your alderman, your wards person, like to deal with constituent services, right? getting trash picked up, dealing with the traffic light. That stuff is mundane. I mean, it's mundane, but it improves people's quality of life, right? That shit ain't
It's not entertainment. We like being entertained. Yeah.
Right. We want and this is the crazy part. So we want the celebrity politician, but when they don't do the actual work,
now they're a public servant. That is true.
Hey, Yvonne, we'd be like, they the worst public servant. I don't even know how they got elected.
Yeah. After you done glorified.
Because their media pack, because you accepted their media packet.
That's the phrase.
You know what I'm saying?
Media packet.
You accepted a media packet. It's all glossy. It's all shiny. It looks like, you know what I'm saying? Like for example, and this still goes today. And at least this goes exactly to your point. I love the term you used. You said trained. And if you are a politician, especially for Black political leaders, if you don't have a stable family situation that can be put on a postcard, and you running for office, like my family is perfect.
Listen, with the 2 kids and the dog and the wife
with the 2 kids and the dog,
they outside in the backyard.
I wish there was a politician that'd be like, man, I just got out of a divorce, boy, I just came through a bankruptcy. Whoo.
Yeah.
But I'm running for office because I do believe in the people. I wonder how much he get elected or she get elected.
Probably not, because we don't want to look at ourselves. It's like, oh no, I need you to be perfect. That's like, we need perfection. I don't want to see you have issues. That's like when Stacey Abrams that had the student loan debt, they gave her a hard time about that. Like with AOC, same thing. Like it's a crazy thing that you cannot be not perfect. But this
can't be human.
You cannot be human. We want celebrities. We want fairy tales. And that's why we don't get what we want across. Like, look, there's no way on earth that Herschel Walker should be running for anything except for maybe away from a line hacker or something like that. Like, he should not be running for politics. But because he has that platform, that he's familiar. And this is where education comes in. We vote for these people because they're familiar. It's like, oh, I feel like I know them because I saw them on television. I feel like I know them because I heard them on this. And that's kind of how Donald Trump, I think he got his foot in. People were familiar with him, and then he was able to warp it into something else. It's going down. It's a mess. People want The Rock to run. I've heard somebody say they wanted Beyonce to run. Like it's
oh my Lord.
It's a mess.
Oh, I remember when Jesse Ventura, I don't know if y'all know him, Jesse Ventura, he was a wrestler.
Yeah.
He was a wrestler and he ran for office. I remember that. Ronald Reagan, he was an actor.
Yeah.
He ran for office, right? And so I think that there is some, we have to figure out how do we make the line, the definition between celebrity and politician, how can we make it less blurry? And that's the part that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because I'm seeing even a Dr. Fauci, right? We know Dr. Fauci said he's going to pretty much retire at the end of December. And I've even seen how, again, Dr. Fauci, we've had a pandemic. I've never heard of Dr. Fauci before COVID-19. I'm gonna be honest with you. He was never on my radar.
Right.
Main man came out, popped up on the scene as the voice of how to deal with COVID-19. Now he's been doing, when you look at his resume, he's been under so many presidents, 38 years of public service. He was pivotal in the AIDS crisis. He was pivotal in the Ebola crisis. He in all of these different biological issues that and climate and public health issues that we've had. he was there. COVID-19 took him to the next level. But guess what? When I look at his trajectory, a couple of things going to happen. He's going to be on the speaking circuit. He's going to come out with a book. Hell, Netflix, Hulu, somebody might say we will do a bio on you, a documentary. Or somebody going to play who would play Dr. Fauci. He's in his 80s, so if he were to make that transition anytime soon, they have a Dr. Fauci movie. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you can, and it's just weird. That's all I'm saying. It's just simply weird that even in this space, and we've heard the infamous Michelle Obama when she was asked who she could be any person in the world, and she said, "I want to be Beyonce."
That's amazing, and it's a little bit like
Michelle Obama, you top of your class, you a lawyer, you got degrees on degrees, you got love all across the country and around the world. You are that girl. You are the Black woman, and you said out of all people, not like, oh, I want to be a Harriet Tubman. I don't want. You said Beyonce. I never forget that.
She can dance.
That just speaks volumes about the power of celebrity culture.
She is an entertainer. Maybe she wants to entertain, while she give her speeches, she want to do a dance.
And I'm not mad at her, right? Because I get it, but then I don't get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just one of those moments where I would have been like, somebody else, but
she wants to swing her hair while she give her speeches. That's what's going on.
There you go, whip my hair back and forth. But I think that the thing with just celebrities in general, like you mentioned, do we get rid of it? How do we separate it? But the issue is if it's not glamorous, if it's not entertaining, do you know how many people on the local level go unopposed? And no one knows who's getting elected, when they're getting elected, when those elections are. A lot of those state and local elections, no one cares because it's just, oh, it's Bob. It's just Bob. Like there's nothing glamorous about it. No one cares. And so when you have this big to do about these politicians, people care more. So that's kind of like a slippery slope where we don't want them to be celebrities, but at the same time, we still need people engaged. And how do you do that? You got to make it like the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like you have to know they flipping table. Like you need to have all of that in order to get people involved. It's sad, but it's where we're at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's get some comments from our wonderful watchers. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, Sophia, good to hear from you. Sophia, you checked in and said celebrity politics is good for spreading awareness, and that's about it. Because again, education. Yeah. And personally, and I'm at this point, Lisa and Iman, that if you're a celebrity, don't speak on no issues, man.
Really?
Unless you really know what the hell you're talking about, man. I just don't, and I got the next conversation that we have in a few minutes is going to speak to that. Don't put your face into places that you don't have no skill. Stop doing it. Just because you're a celebrity, you make a couple of movies or you're an athlete or something, don't mean that you are qualified for every damn thing.
It doesn't give you credentials. You're not a lawyer all of a sudden. You're not a
lawyer. You're not a diplomat. You're not. Stop it.
You're a public figure. We'll say that. We'll
say that. That's a good way. That's a good way. I could take that. I'll take that. But here's the other side of it. Here's the other side. Now I know this is the hard side. Going back to your point, Lise, we really do have to stop creating the culture of making them bigger than what they should be. We really do. I'm serious. It's killing us. I think it's killing us. It's killing, and it doesn't allow us to get past. And we saw this in Baltimore, right? People got mad at me about what I had to say about, just the state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby. I'm not talking about her in specific. I'm talking about the culture of celebrity and how, because you see somebody hanging out with your favorite artist or somebody that's at the events all the time, and you're not looking at their track record, of service as a public servant. That's the part I'm looking at. Because all that other stuff can get us confused.
That celebrity mindset that we put them in, or that seat or platform we give them when they transition from public servant to celebrity, according to us, I think that kind of what got Marilyn Mosby where she is now. Having that attitude of, oh, y'all know me, you know, I'm doing this and doing that. Y'all know, y'all see my face, you see me in the community. But according to what you've done, for some people, it doesn't look good. So I think that also hurts the public servant. It gets to their head, and it can get to their head in a negative way into thinking, oh, I'm this, I'm that, and they feel as though I'm this way, so I can let some things slide, or they won't notice this. They won't pay attention to that. They just want to see the celebrity part of, the mess with me and my husband and things like that. So I think it negatively affect that political figure as well.
Absolutely. All right, Dejima Boutique, you checked in. You said you don't have kings, queens. These people more or less fill the gaps.
Mm-hmm.
They fill the gaps. You agree with that, Lisa?
1,000%. Especially celebrities in general. Celebrities fill that role of the nobles. We always are looking for somebody to be the person to look to, those higher ups, even when they're not there. And I think celebrities fill that role. But if you really go back to something you said earlier in the show, Farajii, if you want to take celebrityism out of politics, take the money out. If you take the money out of politics, I can guarantee you a lot of the celebrityness that we see, because they're not going to have all the campaigns and commercials, and it's not going to be as glamorous. So if you take the money out, there's less of all of the glitz and glam. You have to take the money out.
And guess what? I think that some of these political leaders and those who are and those who serve in that capacity, they rely on that. They play that to their advantage, because when they know they're not doing something right, when they know they're not doing their job, when people sent them to do, they play on that. Come on, guys, what I mean? They come out with a little PR campaign, a little message, some commercial. They show up at the spot, and I mean, we got those type of individuals in every city across this country, where a person knows that, you always ask me, where you been? Well, why haven't you do A, B, and C? And then they kick on the celebrity charm. It's me. Yeah. They kind of end up on it. They come strolling through the scene like, wait a minute, hold up, man. Like, first and foremost, I'm a taxpayer, so I pay your salary. Second, you don't have a track record to be strolling on no scene. You know what I'm saying? Like we just got to hold ourselves first to a grade of accountability. For some reason, this celebrity culture in politics speaks to our lack of not believing in true leadership. I'm getting the sense from us that we allow this to happen because we haven't really seen what or not too familiar with what people inspire people leadership really looks like. So we just automatically go to the Hollywood view. Am I wrong in thinking that, Iman?
Not at all. Not at all. And like you said, as the culture, we have to have to hold these people accountable and help them understand, just because, a lot of people know you're famous, you still work for me. Like, that's the bottom line. You still are here. I got you here. We got you here to help us move forward. Just because you take these pictures with this person, just because we saw you on this talk show with this person, doesn't exempt you from the duties we elected you to do. So we, like you said, accountability. We gotta
absolutely
hold ourselves accountable well.
T. Nixon, you checked it and said celebrities need vetting. Not all are bad, but most have been not good for the people. Yeah.
All politicians need vetting, even if they're not a celebrity. I think that we don't do a good enough job of that. And when I say take the money out, that takes out the special interest, that takes out the Koch brothers putting money, the super PACs putting money in. We need to vet everybody. That's Period.
Yeah, I agree. Karen, you checked in and said T Nixon, thank you so much. Karen, you checked in and said the ride or die celebrities, pro athletes, and venue owners elevated social justice causes and motivated many to vote who otherwise would not have voted.
I agree.
Celebrities definitely play a part in convincing civilians to vote a certain way or support a certain thing. Definitely, I agree. However,
okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish your point. Then I'm asking my question on that, Iman. Go. I'm sorry.
A politician shouldn't be held to the status of being a celebrity. I think she's saying it backwards. The point of celebrities promoting politicians and things like that, yes, that does help. But as a politician, carrying this celebrity aura or stance or mindset, the work they're supposed to be doing falls by the wayside in a sense when it comes to how the culture elevates them, put them on this type of pedestal. So I think she's just saying it the other way around. But I understand her perspective, though.
I understand that. So, for example, if Colin Kaepernick didn't take the stand that he took, do you think that a lot of people would still, do you think that the protests and what we saw coming after George Floyd and even before George Floyd, before 2020, you think that would have really taken off even if Colin Kaepernick didn't take a stand?
I think so.
I think kind of, sort of, because Nike wound up getting behind Colin Kaepernick, of course, only for my opinion, money's reason. But Nike, that's a big name. You can say Nike is a celebrity at this point.
Yeah, no doubt.
Colin Kaepernick, NFL player, and then we add Nike onto it. Everybody loves Nike. Everybody just does it. So I think that helped make the issue. It brought way more attention to the issue. It definitely, I think it still would have, Black Lives Matter and the whole movement would have kicked off regardless. But I think it definitely helped. It added some cinnamon and sugar to the bowl.
And I think it's the other way around. I think we made him into almost like a demigod. So I think that it kind of went the opposite way. I don't think he was the movement, and I think that's the problem. We make the people the movement, and like we saw that with Fred, the people aren't the movement. The movement is the movement. So we need to stop that. That has got to stop. Like, thank you for what you've done, but you're not the movement. The movement is more than you. You are bigger than the movement. Anyone who wants to be the movement needs to be removed. I'm not saying he said that, but I'm just saying we kind of made him the movement, and it became less about social justice and, reforming the police. It became more about, I want Colin Kaepernick to play football. That's what it became. So to me, that's
I would agree, and I think that's I don't know if that's a natural progression, at least, or not, but I would agree because it makes me think of Dr. King. Like, Dr. King never went on the scene to be the center of attention. He went on the scene because he believed in that issue or that cause, right? He believed in the idea that poor people needed to have a voice. So he believed in integration. Like, he believed in this stuff. He didn't come up on there like, "Ayo, Doc." Somebody wrote like, "Ayo, Doc, put your name on this right now." He wasn't like a brand or influencer, quote unquote. Some people will probably say that today, but he never positioned himself as being bigger than the cause.
Right.
The people did it. The culture did it.
Right.
The culture at the time did that.
Right. Because guess what? And I've always heard this, right? And I tend to agree with some of this, that, people don't get involved in causes because it's a good cause. They get involved in causes because of the people that's involved with that cause, right? So my push, and I think that's true, but I think that in order for us to mature in our involvement and mature in our engagement, like, the cause itself should be strong enough to follow, to get involved in, regardless of who gets involved or not. Like, if we know homelessness is a problem. Homelessness don't need no advocates. Just drive down the street and see people sleeping on the sidewalk should be enough. But if you need somebody to advocate and you need somebody in front of you, it speaks volumes about, I think, for all of us, right? Just for all of us, that we need that level of that push, of that encouragement. And I don't know if that's healthy or not, Lise.
Yeah, I mean, it does look to the human nature and how we are as people, that we don't automatically just go to help in a lot of cases. So I agree with you. It does say a lot about us just as people. But again, when we look at motivating people to do things, it is good. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have people to motivate or people to follow. Sometimes you just really don't see it until somebody says, hey, you know, these people are just not out here laying out here because they want to. They're out here because they don't have a choice. Sometimes you do need people to bring that to your attention. My thing is, we just cannot make it about a particular person or thing, because then you lose the movement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's like, for example, you know, Shalinda, you brought it up online. You said just like Black Lives Matter was a movement, but we keep looking and eyeballing some of the leaders.
Yeah.
Like, you, just because you don't like if you have an issue with the founders of the Black Lives Matter movement or some of the leadership, does that mean that Black Lives Matter should not exist? Because you got an issue with the people who God used to bring the idea into fruition, right? Like, you can't deny the fact that us saying Black Lives Matter, that should not be affirmed. But because it came through Patrice Cullors, and because it came through this person or that person, you know, I fear people say, oh, Dr. Marlene Abdullah, no, I'm not banging with her. But does that take away from the fact that Black lives matter?
No, Black lives have always mattered. Whether they do it or not, it has always mattered. But no, I agree with you 1,000%. We cannot do that. We cannot take away from the movement because there were some people there. And this is what I'm saying. It cannot be attached to people. And we do that far too often when we see a lot of these new movements. They become attached to people, and then it taints the movement. We can't have that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Quentin, you checked in and says, Brother Farajii, we live in a republic, not a democracy. I'm just using the democracy, Quentin, because that's what everybody, I mean, I get it. I hear what you're saying. But everybody knows that we live in a democracy. You know what I mean? That's the knowledge. That's the terminology we use. All right, we got to take a quick pause. I want to take our final few minutes to share and talk about this final story with former NBA great, the Hall of Famer, NBA champion Dennis Rodman. I have to talk about this story with Lise and Iman, and I got to talk to you about it as well. So stay with us. It's The Culture right here on the Black Star Network.
When we invest in ourselves, we all shine. Together, we are Black beyond measure.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
When we invest in ourselves, we're investing in what's next for all of us. Growing, creating, making moves that move us all forward. Together, we are Black beyond measure.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland@RolandSMartin.com.
All right, folks, time for our final conversation here on the Culture on the Black Star Network. We truly appreciate you for being a part of the discussions. Big shout out again to my online culture crew that continues to make these conversations so fun to have and so engaging. So big shout out to all of you checking in. All right, we've been talking to culture crew members, Lee Swinney, host of Millennials Anonymous podcast, and Iman Heath, who is an entrepreneur and an activist. And I wanted to, for this final conversation, I wanted to get y'all take on NBA great, Hall of Famer, three-time champion, Mr. Dennis Rodman, who says he'll try to go to Russia and try to get Brittany Griner free. However, his critics say it's going to be a fiasco if he makes his move. Here's the case of somebody All right, so here's the thing. All right, let's put this up there real quick, King Keenan. State Department, how they said the spokesperson, Ned Price, he told reporters that Dennis Rodman would not be traveling on behalf of the United States government and, quote, anything other than negotiating further through the established channel is likely to complicate and hinder those release efforts. Now, a Biden administration senior official voiced that the White House did not approve Rodman's involvement, despite Rodman's assertion that he's received permission. That permission did not originate from Griner's inner circle either. Even that seems unlikely that the State Department has issued a do not travel. Rodman also said that he has, along with permission, he has the visa or the passport to go to Russia. The State Department has issued a do not travel advisory for Russia, in part because of the unprovoked and unjustified invasion of Ukraine by Russian military forces, the potential for harassment against U.S. citizens by Russian government security officials, the singling out of U.S. citizens in Russia by Russian government security officials, including for detention, and the arbitrary enforcement of local law. Lise, what is Dennis Rodman trying to do?
I think he's trying to, I guess he said he's real cool with Putin and see his friends.
He thinks Putin is cool, but that was back in 2014.
He has a really interesting dynamic with leaders that we are tense with. He has a really strong relationship with Kim Jong-un back in 2018. He actually went with Trump to Singapore when they had that meeting with Kim Jong-un, and they were able to get Kenneth Bae, who was in North Korea, home. And he actually credits himself with being able to talk to him to do it.
They said he thanked him for the awareness.
That's why I'm like, I don't know. Like, I love me a man with some green hair, and if he want to go over there and do that, and he can bring him, I'm not recommending it because he could possibly, we're gonna have to trade two people to get two of them back here. So I don't think it's a good idea, but he does seem to have a history or a track record of being able to make things happen. I'm not saying I want him to go because he's going to make it more difficult. If you're trying to trade, do a prisoner swap, he's going to make that a lot more complicated. And we do not know how Putin will handle this because one of Putin's allies' daughters have recently been killed in a car bomb. They're blaming Ukraine. Ukraine's independence is coming up. So we don't know what his response or reaction is going to be to Dennis Rodman when he gets there. So I don't know why he would even make that unless he thought he could do it. I don't know.
So that's interesting, Iman, because foreign policy experts are asking the question, what could he possibly say to them without the back end of the United States to broker any real deal to bring our WNBA superstar back home? Like, what he doesn't have anything to offer. He doesn't have any resources at his disposal. So how are he going to plan and negotiate the release of our sister?
My brain is literally trying to write out the problem and do the math, because I understand the intentions. Like I get it. I completely understand. You know, it's appreciated that, I guess, with his name now being him attaching his name to this may bring more awareness to the issue. I'm not sure. But Farajii, Farajii, I don't know. Like I get the intention, but the actual steps to get it, I don't know.
Like it's, and again, this speaks to what we were talking about. Like you, just because you're great in one area doesn't mean you're going to be great in all areas.
That is true. That is true. Man, felt like he wanted to step up or something. Maybe
he's gonna offer friendship. Friendship is magic. The My Little Pony said that. So I guess he thought it was true.
And look, Lise, that's the best guess that we have at this point. Maybe a nice, shot of, I don't know, whatever they drink over there in Russia. They can have some vodka and smoke a cigar and talk about let's get Britney out. Do you think we can work on that? Like
We are legitimate news and cultural show, and you quote My Little Pony.
That's what she said. That's what she said, Farajii.
I don't know what else to say. That's where I'm at.
I feel you, Lise. That's what my brain is like, just trying to find. But you remember that episode of SpongeBob when they told him burn all the papers of the Krusty Krab history or something with the Krabby Patty? That's where I'm at. I don't know.
I'm mad at myself for knowing that reference and knowing that, seeing that episode, and then I'm also mad that you bring up SpongeBob after she brings up My Little Pony. So this is a trend with you sisters. It's a trend.
We're creating stuff, he's creating this in his head. We're creating stuff. We're talking about fantasy. Why not? Why not? You got a reference, Farajii?
Well, according to the great wisdom of He-Man.
Hey, look, according to T'Challa, who knows?
Hey, yo, I'd rather reference T'Challa over. No. Yo, and the sad part about it? The sad part about it, man, is like, I know the sister really, we all know Britney is not doing well right now, right? Mm-hmm. And my concern about this is that it will start to open the door for us to make mockery of her situation.
That is
versus us, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that, like, I know with the Biden administration, they're doing a lot of stuff behind closed doors. I think this is one of those things, one of those cases, Lise and Iman, where government got to do government stuff.
If it was LeBron, would it make a difference?
No.
What you mean? If LeBron was caught in Russia?
No. If LeBron was what Dennis Rodman did, if LeBron James did that,
he wouldn't do it.
I know, but listen. Well, I mean, clearly, because
I'm trying to be hypothetical, but LeBron don't think like that. I know he don't think like he knows he's out of his league.
I feel like if it was a different
that's one league LeBron can't play in.
Yeah,
even if Michael Jordan said, "Hey, let me," like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so far out of the realm of your expertise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's international. That's international diplomacy. That's, prisoner of war. That's so many other things.
This is not Chicago versus LA. It's not that. It's not Florida versus, I don't know, Idaho or somebody. It's not that.
This is real life.
Yeah.
Say
this
that,
is real life. And also Detroit. It's not Detroit either.
It's not Detroit. It's not New York. This is real life. This sister, we talked about it. The sister literally legitimately got 9 years in a Russian prison.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't, she might get 9 years, or this is, if he would have said this before the trial, I would probably be like, okay, maybe. But now the decision is on, the judgment is already been made.
He gonna get the kid.
Wouldn't it be crazy though? Wouldn't it, if he was able to do it? I mean, if he was able to.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing for me. If he's able to do it, how would it? Shit, then we need to send him everywhere. Then
I agree. Don't even send nobody else.
You need to go to Africa and get them children back too, bro. While you at it.
Right. Just send him and he will make, like, we don't know what he knows, because the fact that he said he got permission and he's going to go help this girl and he's going to bring her home. I don't know where Dennis Rodman.
But no.
I wish him the best. I
don't think he should go.
It's not
I don't think he should go.
It's complicated.
Nah, man. I want the sister home too. But right. I don't think you're not qualified. Now, if it was Jesse Jackson,
well, he got the hospital.
You know what I mean? Jesse's been in those situations. He understands that you know what I mean?
He didn't do that either, though. Like it wasn't like
I don't got that either.
But he got him home.
Who? Jesse?
Jesse, not Dennis. Not Dennis.
Not Dennis. Yeah, I'm about to say Jesse got some people home.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, there's a little bit more faith in his ability to do that versus, like, come on, Dennis, come on, bro, come on, brother. This ain't, and it's like he just came out, and the fact. Here's the thing, the fact that he said he got permission, and then the White House said you don't got permission. It's like, bro, you operating on a whole different plane. Like, you're not even rooted in reality right now. Like, you saying to all of the American media, I got permission. Who did you get permission from to do an international diplomacy trip if it ain't from the White House?
If
it ain't from Washington.
You have my support, sir. You know,
No, sir, brother. No, sir.
The same people Trump said declassified them documents is the same people that told him he could go. That's it.
And guess what?
All 300 of those documents, least all 300.
Nah, bro. Nah.
Maybe Trump told
nah. And here's the thing. Here's the final point on this, y'all, real quick. If Brittany Griner's family and inner circle didn't give you the blessing,
why are you?
What's the point of doing it? If they did not say, hey, this is our guy, he's going to represent us. I wonder, did he even meet with the family?
I doubt it.
Did you meet with the family?
I'm going to say probably not.
I doubt it.
Did you ask him? Did you ask her wife? Did you talk to her wife and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. You know, this is where my relationships are.
That's Dennis Rodman. Because again, he's a celebrity. He's a former NBA All-Star. He ain't got to ask for nothing. That could be the attitude.
Yeah, I know that, and that's what I'm saying. All right.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Okay, that arrogance.
And then look. If people, and to my culture crew, if any one of y'all think this man is qualified to go over there, please just turn in your culture crew pass right now. Just put it, just turn in your pass. Email me at Farajii at Black Star Network. Just turn in your pass, man. He is not qualified, man. we're not doing this. We're not playing games for life and death situations. We're not playing games with people, man.
But his mindset he may really sincerely believe he's the difference, you know?
Again, you might be that way, but here's, again, my thing is, it's a slap in the face of the family. Out of all the people that's an impact, I ain't worried about the White House or President Biden and all that. I'm not even worried about my personal view. I'm saying if the family didn't say you should do it, you got permission from them to do it, then don't do it. It's just that simple. It's like when we see Hollywood put on these shows about celebrities' biographies and stuff, and the celebrity families didn't give you the go ahead. Don't do this project. Don't do it, bro. You're gonna cause more harm than good. And look, we love the sincerity, we love the intention, but don't do it. You are not an international diplomat.
Agreed.
I know a lot of our people, you know how some of us get leased anymore. They be like, well, you see what I'm saying? You ain't gonna let a black man shut the hell up, bro. Shut up. Like, shut up.
Yes.
This
is my last point.
Hey, look, if you over in Russia, would you want Dennis Rodman coming for you? Okay, then. All right. Amen. Let the church say amen.
There you go. Last point. Friendship is magic. And we're going to end on that.
Yo, I'm done with both of y'all. Hey, any parting words of wisdom from SpongeBob, Iman?
I'm ready.
Maybe from the Rugrats. They always dropping jewels.
Right. They were for real. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember that right now.
Iman Heath, entrepreneur and activist, Lise Winnie. Please try to hold it in. Lise Winnie, host of Millennials Anonymous podcast. Thank y'all so much for making my Tuesday worthwhile. We appreciate y'all and thank you for being so good for the culture. Oh man. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. I thank each and every one. I'm serious, man. Brother Dennis, don't do it, sir. If you got a problem with me, by all means, don't do it. Just don't do it, brother. Please don't do it. Please. All due respect. All due respect. I'm going to put some respect on your name. This one, don't put your, We need that system home safe and sound. And lastly, we see for you, if you get caught up in some stuff. All right, folks, I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. Make sure y'all continue to support us here at Black Star Network. And y'all can hit me up, check me out. But go first to blackstarnetwork.com and make sure y'all show us your support. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle. Give me all that you can. Do what you can. Share the content. But most importantly, continue to support Black-owned media like never before. blackstarnetwork.com. All right, also, make sure y'all follow me on my social media at Farajii, at The Real Farajii on Instagram, IG. I'm at The Real Farajii, Farajii. And on my Twitter, you can find me at Farajii, Facebook, Farajii Muhammad. Always looking to connect with some good people. So make sure y'all follow me there. All right. Very excited. Tomorrow, we're scheduled to talk to Miss April Ryan. Yes, she's been doing some great work over at the Griot. So God willing, we'll be checking in with April Ryan tomorrow. So excited about having a conversation with her once again. And so many other special guests to come on tomorrow. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. As always, check out Brother Roland Martin, RMU, this evening, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Definitely looking forward to it. RMU has been on fire talking about the issues, continuing to be on the scene. So big shout out to Brother Roland and to the wonderful team behind RMU that are working hard each and every day to make it happen. Big shout out to the control room. Big shout out to my team. I want to thank Ariel. I want to thank Joel and Shannon and Keenan. I want to thank Lise because she's in front of the camera, behind this camera. And I certainly want to thank all of you for being a part of the conversation, my online culture crew. I cannot have this show without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, never be afraid to challenge what's wrong. Stand for what's right while being yourself in the process. God willing, we'll talk tomorrow for another exciting edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Peace.